after that is all done?
No.
That's what my question.
No.
Then I'm not.
If everything's done correctly, then everything's correct, and
we're all happy.
everything's good. Here, what we're saying is that everything is done correctly on a kachik kalim sacrifice. So what happens now is that the meats are taken to be eaten by the kayanim, by the owners in Yerushalayim. They can take it out, eat it with their families and all of that.
Right.
But there's certain parts of the animal that have to go on the altar.
Right.
If someone uses those parts of the animal that are meant to go on the altar now, after the blood's been sprinkled and all of that, so that's a violation of Meilah. The interesting thing is that before the sacrifice of the animal, there was no Meilah on this carbon. It's only after the blood sprinkled that there is Meilah on this carbon, because this carbon was of lesser holiness. It's only after the process that those limbs are elevated to the status that if you use it, it's a violation of Meilah. The ones that are going on the altar. So comes along Rav Gidl Amarav and says that if the blood is sprinkled with thoughts of pigul, that does not make those limbs, doesn't elevate those limbs to the status of being Meilah, the ones that are supposed to go on the altar, because it was done in Bipsul. It needs to get there, and it doesn't get there.
So wait,
So
so
this-
up until the end, this was Kotche Kalim. After, at the end, when it goes on the altar, that part becomes Kotche.
It's as if it's Kachik Kachim.
As if.
It's still Kachik
That's
Kalim, but
kinda
the limbs
cool,
of
yeah.
the limbs of the so the sprinkling of the blood does two things, two opposite things. If it's Kachik Kachim, it allows the meats to be eaten, and there's no Meilah. Takes the Meilah off. There used to be Meilah on this animal. Because Kachik Kachim, there was Meilah on there if someone used the animal. The sprinkling of the blood is materit to the Kayanim, there's no Meilah. By Kachim Kalim, there was never Meilah on this animal, and now there's certain parts of the animal get Meilah because the blood is sprinkled. Now here we're talking about that the Zrika was pigul. So Yosef Abaya is sitting, B'ka'amar lo hashmaitza. What's Yosef?
Yashiv. The Tav and the Shein.
Just realize that Isa, the word Isa, means there is the Hebrew Yesh. Yud Shin. Right? It's very powerful. Is means Yesh. There is. Okay, so Yosef Abai v'kamal l'shmaitza. Abai was sitting and he said this halacha. Esri Rav Papa l'Abaya. Rav Papa, the student of Rava and Abaya, he asks the following question.
Why is it relevant whether he was sitting, he was standing? Why even mention that he was sitting?
Yeah, I don't know. What's happening here is that
Here, no, Yossi, I'm handing over to someone else.
what's happening here is that it's a much earlier statement that's being discussed. So we're jumping generations. So we're explaining that Abaya is saying, obviously, this was Rav Gidl Amarav up here. We have a conversation now taking place between Rav Papa and Abaya. So he's saying,
Eisvei is Meshiv.
Yeah.
Again, from here.
It's a retort.
Right. So why must we say, just going on what he said, that Yosef, if he was sinning, why can't we say he starts off with a challenge too? And
Right.
then once them accept the challenge is back. Why did we automatically interpret that as Yosef? Why can't it be Yosef? I challenge you with the following statement, and then Meisfei whereupon Papa.
Yeah, interesting.
Doctor, ask the computer. We'll give you the answer.
It doesn't have the answer.
I hear. And as you're saying, why does it mean sitting? Maybe it means that he challenged.
Challenge it.
Yeah.
Just a question.
Yeah, I have to ask the linguists. But that's the way we were always taught. So, this question is like this. If someone slaughters a taida inside the temple, so far so good. Only thing you need to know here is that a taida is a sacrifice that's kachei kalim. A taida is very much like a shlamim. It's almost considered a shlamim. It's of lesser holiness. What happens is, though, that there's bread, 40 loaves of bread that come along with the carbon taida. It's a Thanksgiving offering. Right? all of the people or anyone that traveled to California over the deserts. So they have to thank Hashem. Lachma chutz l'chaim. The problem is the breads are out of the wall. The breads are supposed to be in the wall of the Beis Hamikdash. Here the breads are out. The taida is in, the breads are out. Like Kiddush Alechem, the bread doesn't become consecrated with the slaughtering of the taida. Shachtad shlei karmu panea betaner. Let's say shechted it, but the crust wasn't made on the breads. Afilu karma kulan chutz miyachas, or they were all crusted already. That means that's the way of saying that they're done. It's like Michael Ben Josai, in cooking, how it has to be already like a little bit of a crust on the bread. So if they're all crusted, except for one wasn't done yet. Chutz miyachas me'em like Kiddush Alechem. It's invalid. The bread doesn't get consecrated with the shechita. Shachta chutz l'zmana. If the shechita was done,
can you do the shechita without the bread being there?
The animal becomes like a shlamim, but you didn't do the breads.
So it doesn't puzzle the shechita.
No. It's just what's it going to be? I assume it's just going to be a regular shlamim. He may have to bring another carbon for his obligation though. So shachta chutz l'zman, if it was shechted with intention to sprinkle the blood out of its time, that's a regular case of pigel. Chutz l'mkaima, or to sprinkle the blood, or to eat it, or burn it out of its place. So Kiddush Alechem, the bread does become consecrated. Alma, pigel meisil de Meilah. What's going on over here? He's saying pigel, and nevertheless the bread is getting consecrated. That means that the sprinkling of the blood of the karban is going to make it consecrated. We just said before that the sprinkling of the blood of pigel does not do anything. It doesn't accomplish not the kadshe kachim and not the kadshe kalim. Here we see that kadshe kalim, you're sprinkling the blood, and it's sanctifying the breads. It means that it's working. Ishtik. Abai is quiet. Kyasal Kami de Rababa comes in front of Rababa Amalei Bizrika. Said, no, you got it wrong. That statement from Rav Gidl was talking about that the Zrika was done as pigel, not the Shechita. Amalei Ravashi l'Rava. Ravashi says to Rava, and what we just did over here was something brand new. We always thought that Shechita is one of the Avodas that makes pigel. That if you have the wrong thoughts by the Shechita, it would become pigel. Now we're learning that the Shechita is like a preliminary Avodah. It's really the Zrika that does the pigel. And Rav Gidl was talking about the Zrika. And if the Zrika was done with the wrong thoughts, that's when nothing takes effect. But here we're talking about that the Shechita was done, and so therefore the Shechita of pigel will still have the breads consecrated.
Zrika is what?
Sprinkling of the blood. That's the main service. So Ravashi says to Rava, V'amarula kaimetz pigel shehela legabe mizbeach. The kmitza is comparable to shechita. Now the kmitza is what you do to the flour, and that's similar to the shechita of a karban. And then you would bring it on the altar. That would be similar to the zrika of the blood. So if you do the kmitza in a way of pigel, and you bring it up to the altar, paka pigula mimenu, the pigel goes off when it's getting burnt up there. The Gemara says, kmitza hainu shechita. And the kmitza is shechita. Now, what this seems to say is that there is pigel by the shechita. Amalei, he says, Yisur the meisil de pigel. This is talking about that it's the beginning of the pigel, but it's not real pigel. It's Yisura de meisil de pigel. If you continue doing it this way, it's going to become pigel. So the shechita is also tchilas pigel, but it's not real pigel. So, what does it mean that it doesn't make me'ilah at all? That's only pigel by the zrika. This is just the beginning of pigel. So don't ask a question from the kaimet. That's just the beginning of pigel. Let's leave it over here.
Get the one chart.
So
Yeah.
when it's saying that the pigel is by the